YouTube family, and welcome to Happy Crappy Hour and happy Thursday. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm not sure where you are, but I hope you're having a good day. So, we are starting our Happy Crappy Hour, which is our weekly live stream to see how everybody is doing and also learn a little bit together. So, glad to see you guys coming on. I want to start with Happies and Crappies. So, for those who don't know what that is, we talk about what went well, that's the Happies, and what didn't go well this week for us. So, if you guys want to hop on and tell me what's been going on this week with you, that'd be great. I will start with what my Happies and Crappies are. Let me see. I really should reflect on this, right? But each day things happen, and I try to find goodness and do good things each day. So I can start with a happy. So this week I got together with a friend who went on a women's retreat, and I got to catch up on, how it was for her. I couldn't make it, so that I guess was my crappy. Um, so part of me, actually, so let me start with the crappy actually. Part of me kind of felt that FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. I didn't get to go to the retreat. Too many things just kept coming up and going wrong that kind of became clear to me that I just should not go. I didn't feel like I should go. I pictured myself there, and I just didn't picture myself um, doing well at the retreat for several reasons. But so I decided, okay, I'm not going to go. But then part of me felt bad because I thought, I have a bunch of friends who are going, and it would have been great to spend that time with them. Well, so I had to get over that. That was my crappy. I had to get over this fear of missing out. Sometimes fear of missing out makes you do things or be in places, go to things that really you shouldn't have gone. You end up having a miserable time. You end up in a fight with somebody, or a disagreement, and things fall apart. And you knew you just shouldn't have gone anyway. So I guess my happy there is that I listened to that. I listened to that inner voice, that gut feeling that not this year, just not this year. I could have pushed forward. I could have made it happen. I could have, gotten past all the things barriers that just kept getting in my way. But in the end, it turned out that I would have been miserable. As you know, I had a cough for much longer than I expected, and it lasted into the weekend. So I would have been just hacking my way through the entire weekend and just feeling miserable and making other people around me miserable because there was no way they would have been able to sleep. But beyond that, there were other things that were coming up for me too, spiritually, emotionally. I don't think it was the time for me to go. Anyway, so the happy is that I got together with her, one of my friends afterwards. And I'm planning on getting together with another friend who had also gone because I want to hear and learn from them what they got out of it, what spoke to them, how they grew, about their experience. I want to know about that. So I'm excited to hear from the second friend. But the first friend, I got to hang out with her, and we always have a great time when we get together. So we got to talk about her experiences and what she learned, what she didn't like, what she did like, all of that stuff. So it was really cool. That was my happy. So, there are things that maybe a path that you think, oh, everybody else is on this path, so I should be on this path too. So I should be going and doing what they're doing. Otherwise, I'm going to be missing out. But the reality might actually be that that's not the path for you. It might be their path, but for you right now, you need to hang back or do something different. And in doing something different, you might actually bless yourself, and those around you. So I had a great time not going. I ended up staying here, and people came over and we played games until 2 o'clock in the morning. It was insane. And I had friends come over that I hadn't seen in a while. And I also had, let me see how, I had a friend bring a boyfriend that, I hadn't met yet. So I got to meet him, see how things were. And we liked him a lot, So all this good stuff. We had a really good time, and I got to heal. I got to heal in the comfort of my own home and get my cough taken care of. So Obi-Wan, good to see you. Glad that you're on here. So you guys, today I do want to talk about this topic because I think a lot of people are stuck, after being with a narcissist, and not just stuck, but forever changed, right? It's just not a great thing where you're looking at yourself and you're wondering how do I recover, first of all, right? And second of all, am I going to be myself again when I start dating? How am I going to be able to date again now that you've been traumatized the way you have and your trust has been demolished? There was such betrayal, and you're trying to figure out, can you even trust your own judgment? So what the heck? How in the world are you going to be able to date again, and what's life going to look like from this point on? See, Thomas, good to see you hopping on here. So, yeah, you guys, if you want to interrupt at any time, you're welcome to, and let me know how your week has been going, what your happies and crappies are. And I just covered mine. And the lesson for mine, in case you hadn't heard, was that, sometimes you see a bunch of your friends on one path or going to a certain event or doing something, and you think you should be there too, enjoying and doing the same thing they are. Sometimes your body lets you know, either a gut feeling or you get sick or something like that, lets you know this is not the time for you. And that's okay. Even though you may have to struggle with FOMO, fear of missing out, right? You might have to struggle with that a little bit, but that's okay. Just say, you know what? Be content and happy with where you are now. And it's interesting because things will pop up or happen that will bless you when you do the right thing or when you're on the right path for yourself. So that fear of missing out sometimes can make you or get you into a situation where you were not meant to be. You were not meant to start, dating, for instance, right? Or you were not meant to go to a certain party, or you were not meant to go on a weekend retreat. So by staying back, you listen to yourself, you listen to your gut, and it doesn't mean like you lay in bed and you cry all weekend, but you do other things. You do the things that are in front of you while you're not at that event, and you will find blessings there. So you guys, Mark Fishman, good to see you. Glad you're coming on. Let me see. Obi says, I'm not stuck with my narc. I'm stuck with the enablers it left behind. Yeah. Obi says, my happy is I get to see the dentist soon. All right. It is a good thing to go see the dentist. I know for a while there, a lot of people, it was it was kind of like common that people dreaded going to the dentist and they don't want to, but the dentist fixes things for you, right? Helps you to get healthier. And when your mouth is healthier, the rest of your body starts to heal too. So you guys, very good. So glad to hear that you're going to be going to the dentist. So, okay, so let's hop into this life and dating after the narcissist. And Obi was saying that he's not stuck with the narcissist, and maybe you're not stuck recovering from the narcissist. You've gotten over that, but there are residual things like they're flying monkeys, right? There are residual things happening in your life after the narcissist that kind of keep you stuck, right? Maybe people gossiping about you, maybe maybe financially, right? You get stuck because they've depleted your savings and you have to start over, or they leave you with a tremendous debt and now you have to pay that. So there are other things that may hinder you, at least feels like it, from moving forward. And I want to let you know that even with those types of hindrances, you can still move forward. But let's talk about more, the common things that we go through after the narcissist. See, Thomas, let me see what you have to say here. Says, my happy is that I spent the weekend away with family. My crappy feeling, your crappy was that you were feeling down, came back home and felt alone. Move for my narc to another state feeling isolated. Oh, from your narc to another state and you're feeling isolated. Yeah. And, it's that loneliness too that we have to, I don't want to say fight, but we do have to deal with it, right? After your relationship, because the time spent with the narcissist is probably all enveloping. It just consumed so much of your time. And then now that you're not in that relationship anymore, you're left with a lot of time. You're left with a lot of empty time, right? So I wanted to talk about how you have dealt with it, but also how I've dealt with it and what has worked and what has not worked. How do you move on? And the first thing I want to say is, and this kind of happens automatically. We go through a grieving process. We do, right? We go through this anger, this denial. We blame ourselves, we blame the narcissist, we blame other people around us. And the denial might be also that we think we can make it still work. We don't think it was as bad as it was. We think that the narcissist still loves us or that we still love the narcissist. So we go through this process of detachment, of loss, right? Because we lost something. Even if it was good that we lost a narcissist because we got away from an abusive or a user toxic type environment. So it still, though, feels like we lost something. And the biggest thing I think that we lose is that future, the fake future that we thought we were going to have. And we have to grieve that. We have to grieve the loss of that future. And we thought we would be at a certain point in our life, by now with the narcissist, perhaps, maybe starting a family, maybe buying a house, whatever it might have been. And it's no longer there. But we have to come to terms with reality too. Like, what would the present look like if you had stayed with the narcissist, right? So we have to process all of this. And this is really good. It seems like there are a lot of steps and you have to take them at your own speed. You cannot rush through these steps. Be real with yourself. You might want to journal. I'm not a big journaling person, but I know some people are, and it's been really rewarding for them. For me, I've been doing these videos, and that's been really rewarding for me, talking with you guys, sharing time and space and experiences with people who've gone through the same thing. So doing a channel like this has been really helpful for me. I hope it's been helpful for you coming on and sharing as well. So that's why I love that I've started doing the live streams. So you guys get to come on as well and share and become a part of this interaction. So that grieving and healing, facing what you lost, right? So that's part of what you have to go through in order to move on to the dating and life. Okay. So I think there are many other videos. I'll go ahead and attach them to this video in the little eye circle icon to the top right after I upload this video, about how to heal after narcissistic abuse. But right now I want to talk about, so what do we do? What do we do? What does dating look like after the narcissist? And you know what? To be honest, dating at first is going to seem very gray because what you had with the narcissist was so either volatile or so passionate that it was, whether the colors were red and orange and always fiery, or it was very I guess also red in that it was passionate, it could have been fiery, angry, fighting all the time, or it could have been just extreme, amazing passion all the time. Most likely near the end of the relationship, of course, it's not going to be the happy passion kind of thing. I actually had I met a couple of different ladies recently who talked about their ex And I don't know that their exes are narcissists or anything, but they had talked about how they had become essentially an object to their ex, a sex object. And I think that for narcissists, they treat us like objects and we don't realize it at the time. And at the time, it might seem like it's passion. But if you end up staying with them for a long time, like these ladies were married to their ex for, I guess, over 20 years each, they became just objects to their, and it was evident, it was obvious, they became objects um, to their husband. So when they came out of there, they could recognize that this passion was not really passion. It was the narcissist or their ex using them. So we can be aware of that for ourselves as well. When we think about dating, we don't want to be an object to another person, right? An object of passion, even. We want to be their partner. We want to be seen not just for our sexuality or what we can bring to the bedroom, right? But we want to be seen as a person, an entire person. So when you start dating again, you want to bring that into it. You want to, you at first you might miss the passion part. That's why it kind of looks gray when you start dating again, because normal people won't treat you like an object. They're not going to treat you like or look at, oh, hey you guys, I'm back. I don't know why it disconnected for a second there. But yeah, they're going to look at what they're a normal person or a good person is not going to look at what you can bring to the bedroom. They're going to look at what you can bring to conversation, what you can bring to maybe parenting, right? If you guys are thinking about having a family together or that the possibility, what you can bring to just enjoyment of life, like physical enjoyment. Do you like to go biking, playing tennis? Do you like to have adventures? Do you have the same interests, right? Um, so that's you have to look at dating in a different way because you cannot go by the same standard you had with the narcissist. The standard that the narcissist had with you is not healthy. It wasn't healthy the way, even though it felt exciting and exhilarating at times, it wasn't healthy because they were kind of trying you on like a shoe. They wanted to make sure that you were going to conform to them. And they wanted to make sure that you were going to be up to all of their sexual escapades and things like that. And at first, it might seem like, wow, that was so exciting and I want that again. And by the way, you can have that again, but you want to bring that in in a healthy way into a relationship. You don't want to just start off with fireworks going crazy. Um, and the reason for that, you guys, is because the fireworks that start off immediately with narcissists, like they'll tell you within 2, 3 days that they're in love with you, that they want to marry you, that you're the man of their dreams, that you're the woman of their dreams. And it might feel great. It might feel like, wow, they see me. And this is so passionate and colorful, right? Bring so much color into your dating. But it's fake because they don't know you yet. They don't know that you're their soulmate. All they know is how to move as fast as possible to love bomb you, to capture you, to get you under, addicted to them, under their thumb and to control you. So when you come out of that and you start dating again, you almost kind of want that again. You want that excitement, that explosion at the beginning, all the fireworks that happens at the beginning that with the narcissist. But I want to let sometimes that can happen, but hold yourself back physically. And what I mean by that is sexually. Hold yourself back not to jump into bed with them right away because that just distracts you from seeing who they really are. So, you guys, when you're thinking about dating again after this narcissistic abuse, and you might be doing it to fill this empty space, to fill this hole that was left behind after the narcissist left, um, don't fill it with another narcissist. You have to prepare yourself not to repeat even if it seemed like it was so much fun at the beginning with the narcissist, don't repeat this. Don't repeat that uh I guess their steps, right? Because that's going to that's going to cover your eyes. That's going to deceive you into thinking the person that you're with is as exciting, as amazing as your new soulmate. And you're going to wonder, how in the world did we get back into this again? How did you get back into being used as an object again, being seen as an object again? Um, so, all right, you guys, let me go into some of your comments and see what you have to say. Oh, okay. Mark says one of the biggest things that has helped me is to journal. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And you know what? I have got to get back to journaling. I've been really bad about it because I'll start multiple notebooks. And so I'll have about 10 notebooks around the place uh, from all these, with a few entries in each one of them because, yeah, I got to keep organized where I keep my journal in one place and journal in one place. And I did start journaling on my computer, which is great because I can type much faster. To write it out just takes so long to get my thoughts out that I forget what I was thinking while I was journaling, what I wanted to write down as I'm journaling. So my thoughts just go so much faster with the computer, and it's been good doing that. C. Thomas says my happy. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I already read that. Obi-Wan says my crummy is that I had my narc right where I needed it, and its enablers refused to help in the slightest way. So again, I looked like an idiot trying to do what was right. Oh, okay. Yeah, the enablers that to the narcissist are not helpful. They will jump in to try to rescue the narcissist, to prevent the narcissist from reaping the consequences of their own actions. And yeah, they don't help. They don't help the situation. Jihad says good morning. So good morning, Jihad. C. Thomas says yes, Mark, journaling helps. I try to spend time with myself more. And C. Thomas says self-care helps get out, do more hobbies. I walk, I meet new friends. Yes, 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 yes. I agree with all of that. So in our healing, as we go through this grieving process, we do have to work on ourselves as well, right? Part of there's a time to grieve, but you don't want to sit there too long because then it becomes depression, right? Then it becomes all encompassing and an obsession almost, right? And you're not able to even get past it. It's really hard once you give into this grieving process and you don't know how to get out of it. And part of getting out of it, which I'm glad you brought up, C. Thomas, is that you work on yourself. Little by little, you get out, you take walks, you meet new people, you do some good things for yourself. Maybe start going to the gym, maybe start going to yoga classes, maybe start cycling, maybe start playing tennis, even if it's against the wall and by yourself, start doing something active to get yourself out into the sunlight, into the world again, and out of the little den or cave you've built where you were grieving. Now, you guys, let me grab a drink here, and I'm going to go through some more of your comments. Okay, Obi-Wan says everyone hated my narc, including you keep saying itself. I understand why you're doing that. Yeah, you know what? A lot of times narcissists don't like themselves. They want to believe, and it's such a weird, it's like a contradiction. And I've heard this before too. Oh my gosh. There are narcissists who people will say, or psychologists will say, truly believe that they are as magnificent and, as they arrogantly portray. They really think so highly of themselves. And I kind of look at that and I wonder, yes, to the outside world, they present this. They present that they are magnificent, that they're so much better than everybody else. because inwardly they actually believe that they are special. Like there is something so different about them that sets them apart from the masses, right? They're the one golden child or golden, whatever it might be, right? When they were born, something was placed on them that made them this super special being. They believe that, but they also have a lot of self-esteem issues. They also get angry at why they are not accomplishing the things they thought they would be accomplishing. They they get down on themselves because they don't have the proper healthy coping mechanisms that helps them to improve themselves as a person, as people. So instead, they become worse and worse people. And throughout their life, people will fall away from them, which would then make them more angry, right? And less and less sure of themselves. So it's this cycle for them, and it's a contradiction that they believe they're super special. They believe they're, they are amazing in that they have special powers that others don't have. They might even think they have special powers of empathy, which is absolutely nuts to me. They think that they understand people really well, or they think that they just see people better than others can see people. Um, but then inside, they also feel tremendous insecurity about who they are because it doesn't match up. Their life doesn't match up. How they feel about how special they are is not matching up with who they are financially, maybe, or who they are in their career, or who they are in their relationships. Like why is everything falling apart if they're this amazing, so amazing? Yeah. So Obi-Wan was just saying that even his narcissist hated himself or herself. C. Thomas says, yes, they do, and they will. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Okay. C. Thomas says, yes, they do, and they will hoover for sex. That's when you realize it was just an object. C. Thomas is talking about when I was talking about dating. You don't want to date the same way you did when you were with the narcissist. You don't want to jump into bed right away with the next person or multiple people later on, right? You don't want to move as fast as the narcissist did. It might have felt like, oh, great compassion, not compassion, great passion. And it might have felt exhilarating because of how fast the narcissist was moving and all the love bombing that came along with it. But that was really unhealthy. How quickly they tell you that you're their soulmate, that's just unhealthy because they don't even know you. They don't know that you really are the best mate for them for the rest of their life. All they know is right now you're convenient. You're right here and you're a good supply. So right now they can be passionate with you and jump into bed and think this is the best thing ever. But then it starts to wane. It starts to go away. And then they just see you as an object. They ignore the parts that don't work. Like you don't work together well. You don't get along that well. Your finances are falling apart, or you're not even able to keep a home happy and bright and clean and joyful. Instead, they are just focused on one area, one aspect. And that one aspect, a lot of times, is the sexual relationship. So at least that is good. And they start just using you or seeing you as that object to fulfill that part of their life. Yeah, absolutely crazy. And you don't want to start dating again the same way because you don't want that to be the only good thing in your relationship with the next person, right? So we're going to talk also about, so then what do you do? What do you do to not fall back into the same type of dating relationship that you did have with the narcissist, right? The moving so fast, the love bombing, the even the gaslighting, right? How do you not fall into that? Well, you have to start with yourself, right? During your grieving process, you start to work on some self-improvement things. You start to realize what you like and what you don't like. You say you don't like doing yoga, but you do like climbing or jogging. So you do that instead. You learn and start to focus more on who you really are. And that journaling time, that time to yourself really helps you to focus on the person you really are at your core. So you learn about yourself, you learn about your likes and your dislikes, and you think about, you may or may not be ready to do this right away, most likely not right away. It may take a few months, but when you're able to think about your time with the narcissist and sort of analyze that, analyze yourself, go back and think about the things you did like about yourself when you were with the narcissist and the things you did not like about yourself when you were with the narcissist. Maybe, and I think it's most likely it's the things you don't like, such as how easily manipulated you were, right? How trusting you were, maybe how you fell into these fantasies with the narcissist and you wanted to believe. So a lot of times you were in denial. These are things that you're going to have to work on for yourself, right? To get to know yourself better and also strengthen yourself so that when you do start dating, when you are dating somebody else, you're not going to fall back into the same patterns that you did with the narcissist. You're not going to be as easily manipulated. You're not going to fall into denial. You're actually going to see this new person for who they are. You're not going to jump into this passionate, instantaneous, love bombing, crazy, first date, sleep together, 3-4 times type of thing. You're going to see this person for who they really are. So you're not going to be in denial that, oh, this must be my soulmate, like you were with the narcissist. That was denial, to say that the narcissist was your soulmate. It is denial to say that you can fall completely and deeply and in love with somebody within 38 hours or 48 hours, right? 36 hours. It's incredible to say, excuse me, to believe that it was real, what you had with the narcissist at the beginning there, because it wasn't real. So these are all things, though, that are great because they help you look at yourself. They help you get stronger. They help you take care of the parts that were weak, right? That were wounded or damaged inside of you, that made you easily manipulated, that made you want to chase a fantasy rather than live in reality, right? So think about that as you work on yourself. I really like that comment. Thanks for mentioning that. Let me see here. Sorry, you guys. Let me go back. See, Thomas says, been 10 months. I tried dating once, but I didn't trust the person. I just couldn't do it. After narc abuse, hard to trust anyone. Yes. And here's the thing. You'll be able to start trusting again once you're able to start trusting yourself. And what I mean by that is when we come out of the narcissistic abuse, we tend not to even trust our own judgment. All we are going on now is instinct, right? We're going on gut instinct all the time, and our gut is actually, it's going to be working from a place of woundedness. You're going to be quite shy about wanting to jump into things again because you're scared, so you're coming from a place of fear and timidity, and you're anxious about getting into something again. So yeah, you're not going to trust other people, but here's the kicker. You don't even know how to trust other people. And the how comes from first learning to trust yourself. And that's why I talk about, focusing inward a bit, figuring out who you are, what your likes are, what your dislikes are. And when you're able to go back and analyze your time with the narcissist. Excuse me, you guys, I need to take a drink here. Yeah, so Go back and analyze your time with a narcissist to see the things in you that needs repairing, right? Why were you so easily manipulated? Why did you stay in denial with the narcissist for so long? What was it that you were craving or needing from the narcissist? Were you needing affirmation from the narcissist? Did you have low self-esteem, or did it get to that point? Maybe you entered the relationship with high self-esteem, but now after you've left a narcissist, your self-esteem is squashed. But you have to recognize that your self-esteem is low. So once you do that, you can start to build up again. You can start building up yourself again by figuring out who you are, what you like, what you don't like. Start with that. And then start doing the things that you like and cutting out the things you don't like, right? Things that take away from your experiences in life, things that cause you pain in your life. Start cutting those out. And I'm not talking about good pain as in, workout pain, because workout pain is good. It's good to get to that point where you're sweating and you're in pain, and then you feel better. You improve after that and you get stronger. But the kind of pain that just, if you hang around certain people who are always negative, who don't have a good thing to say, who are just always sick, or, and you walk away from time with them and you feel miserable yourself, right? That type of pain. You need to start learning, okay, I don't enjoy doing those things. I'm going to have to start cutting those things out. I enjoy more, if you enjoy spending time by yourself and working out by yourself, going for jogs or bike rides and stuff like that, then do that. You'll start to see yourself improving. You'll start to, and whether you realize it or not, your self-esteem is going to start going up. Your ability to trust yourself is going to start going up because of all this reflection that you do for yourself. Narcissists cannot self-reflect. That's why they don't get better. But we can self-reflect and work on the things that need to be worked on. Okay, Jihad says, that's understandable about hard to trust someone after all that abuse, but you have to heal from that. Yes. See, Thomas says, yes, Jihad, I'll give myself more time to heal. That's good. And Jihad says, that's good. And you have a lot of people that went through the same thing as you and understand, and they can help you. You have us. Aw, I love that. Thank you for saying that, Jihad. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is a reminder. And I love doing these live streams because I love you guys being able to get on here and talk to each other and interact with me so that we can go through this together. We can be each other's support. We can be each other's encouragers, right? But we can also call each other out, not in a harsh way, but let each other know what works and what doesn't work, right? See, Thomas says, I write, I read, walk the dog most of the time, work in it, and you're at home. That's good. And you know what? Pets, oh my gosh, that's another thing you might want to consider is getting a pet, because they do lift you up. If you're feeling this great loneliness, getting a pet would be really sweet because, pets are just, and especially dogs, are they love unconditionally, and they're so happy to see you. I just love my pets. So yeah, I highly would recommend that. Jihad says, well, that's good. Continue to do the things you like and go out and explore your new state. I'm sure it has a lot of exciting things you can do. Cool. Oh, that's because Jihad says, I'm in a new state, so trying to get out a little more. It's all new. Yep. See, Thomas says, I like drawing and yoga, so we'll get out and do this more. Yes. It's really awesome when you start investing in yourself. Start investing in the things that give you life. And that's what you want to do. Mark says, you must set boundaries for yourself. This is very important. Yes. I have a friend who is being so smart in her dating that she and her boyfriend have set boundaries. I don't know that they're boyfriend girlfriend yet, but they're kind of dating. And for her, she's going rather slow at it because she doesn't want to rush it. She doesn't want to be distracted by the physical side of the relationship. So she wants to see this guy for who he really is, and she wants to pay attention to how he treats her. And she's very intentional as well about how she treats him. So without the physical side muddying it up, right, and making it more uh, complicated, they can actually work on who they are in their relationship for each other, right? They can actually see each other's needs. They can actually respond to each other and laugh and not have that undercurrent of discomfort because of what, whatever physical thing just happened. Because there's no physical thing, right? They can keep it platonic so that they can enjoy each other's company first and see if they are a good match. So I'm really proud of her for doing that. That's one of those boundaries. I know that they got to a point where they were going to get more and more physical, and she said, whoa, hold on, that's boyfriend status. And they had just, not just met, they'd known each other for a while, but they were trying out maybe dating, and they hadn't decided yet to be exclusive. And good for her, that she spoke up and said, hey, this isn't, that's boyfriend. Oh, what did she say? Not status. She said, that's boyfriend privileges, this physical side. So once you make a commitment to me, once we know we're exclusive, then we can start to get a little more physical. But not jumping into bed physical, though. She's just talking about, anyway, and I'm not going to go into it, but you can imagine there's a closeness that you can get with a person physically, and you want to set certain boundaries. And I know some people set time boundaries like, 3 months or 9 months or whatever it is. But I would set boundaries. Those are good to start with, because when you don't know what boundaries to set, time is good. But then you start to pay attention also to the relationship and not play up the relationship now, just so you can get to that physical part where you're like, yeah, everything's been great, so let's jump into bed. Really look at the relationship. Make sure that they aren't a jerk to other people around you. That's one of the things you find out about somebody if you've been with them long enough, is how they treat other people. And if they're treating other people that, like the janitor or the wait staff, the bus boy, if they're treating other people like trash, then that shows you this is not a good person. This is not a person who's going to treat you well throughout your relationship. Okay, you guys, let me see what you are saying here. So thank you, Mark, for bringing up that. Yes, definitely setting boundaries. And I've recommended the boundaries books so much because they're good. They're good not just for dating, they're good for all relationships. And they're good for you as well. Like, you don't want to step over other people's boundaries too, right? You don't want to guilt trip people. You don't want to have wrong expectations, right, of people. Okay, C. Thomas says, yes, Jihad will work on it. Thanks. Oh, okay. Yeah, Matthew. Oh, good to see you, by the way. Says, too good to be true isn't. If it's too good to be true, it isn't. Yes. Obi-Wan says, I think our narcs are suffering in a different way. Oh, than me and you, bud. Okay, he's talking to Jihad. Metal Gear. Oh, wow, it's been a while. Good to see you. Good morning. Obi-Wan, thank you, says this channel helped me heal. Oh, I'm so glad. You guys, let me see. Oh, I don't know what this is. Obi-Wan says, I loved that game on regular NES, Metal Gear, as a kid. Oh, I don't know. You guys must have been talking about something else. Crystal, good to see you. Says, just listening today, feeling crummy, but wanted to send you all lots of love. Thank you, Crystal. I'm sending you love too. Yeah, I feel better. I know, things are going around, man. It's that time of year, I guess, right? I had that cough for so long. Well, you guys, yeah. Okay, let me get back to this topic here. So life and dating after the narcissist. one of the other things I wanted to talk about was that, um, oh, I'm sorry. Obi-Wan says, uh, oh, it's dork talk. Metal Gear was a game a long time ago. Oh, I see. Okay. I thought maybe you guys had some inside conversation going on. Okay. So, yeah, we I think one of the I'm kind of torn back and forth. Some people feel like if they can date again right away, they can get over the narcissist faster. And I can see that. My suggestion, though, is don't jump into bed right away. Like you can date right away if you want, just so you have people, you can spend time with people and get dressed up again, but you're going to have to do that inner healing at some point. Dating right away is like a band-aid over the wound. And it might make you feel good for a little while. It might stop the bleeding for a little while, but ultimately you're not going to be able to give yourself fully to the next person until you do the healing work for yourself. You're not going to be able to move on. You're going to become somewhat obsessive, right? It's going to come out somehow. The trauma that you went through with the narcissist, it's going to come out at some point in your new relationship if you jump into one right away. So that's why narcissists, though, they jump into relationships right away because they don't do the introspective stuff. They don't self-reflect. They don't do the healing and the work that's needed to improve themselves. They don't change. They just fill the void right away with somebody else so that they think that's the way they think they're healing, but it's not healing. It's just filling a void until the yucky stuff starts creeping out, starts seeping out again. And they are still going to be the same terrible, toxic, narcissistic turkey that they were with you, but then it's going to start coming out with their new supply. So we don't want to do that. So what I'm saying is, yeah, some people have started dating right away to distract themselves from their pain. You have to set boundaries. This is what I'm trying to tell you. If you're going to do that, set physical boundaries. Like you're not going to get physical with this person. And not only that, you're going to just have casual, pleasant, friendly dates. Like do that, okay? Enjoy the opposite sex. Enjoy whatever, the date brings to you. But don't jump into bed right away. Don't try to replace the narcissist with your date. You want to start working on yourself. And it's also possible to work on yourself while you're casually seeing somebody, right? It's good to do that. Like it feels good to know that someone's attracted to you. And I can see why starting to date right away might feel good and might be a bit cathartic because it gives you some self-esteem again, right? It makes you feel like, I am attractive. I am worthwhile. Somebody does want me. And that feels great. But now work on yourself while you're doing that, right? So that you can be a real person with this with the new partner, with your date. Well, you guys, let me see what you're saying. Jihad says, the meaning of jihad is struggle. Ah. Okay. Okay, Crystal says, I'm a Christian, so I won't be sleeping with anyone again until marriage is on the horizon. Yes. Won't allow just anyone into my personal space like that again. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I so agree with you. Obi says, that's why I said our narc's definition of jihad is different. Oh. Oh, okay. I misunderstood how you had written that, Obi-Wan. Yeah. Because for narcissists, they're always fighting instead of just struggling, having an inner back and forth struggle. Jihad says, Crystal, that's really good. Thumbs up. Same with the religion of Islam. Yes. Crystal says, I have a bubbly, flirtatious personality, but I can't imagine myself actually flirting with another man. Eek. Scary. Yeah, you have to be careful with that, especially when the culture nowadays is if you're flirting, that means you want to sleep with me, right? People jump so quickly into a physical relationship that um, if you give them any encouragement, they think that's where it's headed. So you can be upfront, about things and say, right now I'm going through a healing process, but I like you and I like hanging out with you. I just can't get physical. I got to work on myself. And, for if the person you're with thinks that's insulting or can't deal with that, then absolutely they are the wrong person to be hanging out with anyway, right? If all they're interested in was jumping into bed with you. So, just take it for what it was. Hey, I was attractive enough that they wanted to go out with me. Take the positive out of it, and make your feed your self-esteem if you need to with that, and then let it go. Like, okay, but obviously not the person I'm going to end up marrying. So, let that person go. Appreciate the compliment, appreciate the pursuit a little bit, right? That they had pursued you, and then just let them go. I've had a friend who went through that too, where there were men that she just did not like, because of their personalities, and also they weren't her type, who would hit on her, and sometimes it made her feel gross, right? And you don't want to treat somebody like, oh, get away from me, you're gross. You want to treat them with kindness, but also firmly let them know you're not interested. For her not to feel that instant, oh, gross, get away from me. I told her, just take it for what it was. It's just a compliment. Take it for a compliment. Just be thankful that, wow, you're this attractive that people want to walk up to you and say, how beautiful you are or how interested they are in dating you. And you can turn them down. You can always turn them down. You don't have to be grossed out by it. You can just say, no, thank you. But thank them for the compliment, appreciate that. So you guys, this has been our talk about dating, and I think most of us are not at that point where we want to jump back into dating. Well, obviously not me because I'm married, but um, I'd been there before though, where do you jump in right away? And my experience has been no, it didn't turn out well because I wasn't strong enough to have healthy boundaries for myself. I wasn't strong enough to even relay those boundaries to the people I was dating. So they didn't even realize there were boundaries. And um, I think I let you know in my last live stream last week that there was a time where I let people use me physically and emotionally. And essentially that's what happened. And I'm not going to blame the other person because I allowed it. I allowed it to happen. I didn't set my boundaries. I wasn't clear about them. And I didn't even know that I had boundaries that I should have boundaries. I just wanted to be taken away. I just wanted to be um, taken into a different realm than the realm I was in, the realm of pain and loss and confusion. All that all that though that ended up was more confusion. It just ended up with even more confusion when I didn't have my healthy boundaries. So that's why I want to talk to you guys about this. Um, what it looks like, what you have to work on, do a bit of introspection. Once you start to work on yourself, you will start to trust yourself more. And once you start to trust yourself more, you're going to be able to trust other people. And the reason I say that is because you're going to be able to identify the fakers, okay? You're going to be able to identify the narcissists, the toxic people, the abusers, the users. It's not going you're not going to fall back into what you were or what you had with your narcissist, because you're going to be a different person. You're going to be stronger. You're going to have a better sense of self and a better sense of other people. You're going to know what genuine, what a genuine person is like. Because you're going to be a genuine person. Oh my gosh, this is another revelation I had with my friend this past week. I was saying at the very beginning, my happy was that I got together with a girlfriend of mine who had gone on a women's retreat that I wanted to go to, but everything was just telling me not to go, and it was just not my time to go. So I didn't, but I got to catch up with her and hear about her experience, which was awesome. But in talking with her, I also, she was telling me um, how stable I am. She's known me for a couple of years now, and she was just saying how I take it. I'm going to take that as a compliment, and I'm not going to shy away from that. And I do feel stable. That's the thing. I do feel very solid and stable and sure of a lot of things in my life. I'm willing to admit, though, that there are a lot of things I still don't know, and I'm still figuring out. And there are times that I do mess up, but those times that I mess up are much smaller, and I recover much faster because I have a much healthier perspective on things now. I have healthy boundaries, and I also got to a point where I had gotten very real with myself. I had to admit, excuse me, I had to admit to myself the things that were wrong with me. And it was hard. It was hard to admit that, because you want to believe the best about yourself. You want to believe your strengths. And I was willing to admit the small things that were wrong with me, or the symptoms that came out from the core thing that was wrong with me. So one day, and this was a few years ago, I had come to this conclusion that I struggled with jealousy. Yeah, I mean, that was a huge revelation for me because I didn't want to admit that. I didn't want to admit that I was jealous of anybody. But a friend of mine, well, actually, we kind of grew up together. Our mothers knew each other from childhood. So throughout our childhood, our mothers would get us together, would visit, they would visit each other in the summers for a week or so. And so for a period of, I want to say, I don't know, 12 years, 10 years, um, we got to see each other in the summers for about a week. So we kind of grew up, if you want to call that growing up together. But throughout that time, I'd always been jealous of her. And the reason was because my mom never did the things with me that her mom did. Like my mom not um, was not involved, okay? And the only involvement was very negative and toxic and abusing. So, or abusive. And her mom, although her mom was abusive at times, her mom was also loving at times. Her mom also gave her attention, took her to dance class, tap class, whatever it was, took her swimming, took her and her friends to get ice cream. So her mom spent time with her. And I was very jealous of that because I always looked at myself and thought, I want that. I want that. And I didn't know at the time that I wasn't really getting it. I didn't realize at the time um, what was going on with my own mom. But years later, so fast forward a few years, I'm on Facebook and she friends me. So we are now friends on Facebook. And I called her one day and we were talking. And I said to her that I can't remember if I had called her or that this conversation happened while we were actually together. But we had, I ended up actually visiting her as an adult, right? We were both adults at this point. And I told her that I had always been jealous of her. And she was like, "What? Why?" And she didn't know. And I told her why, about the mothers thing. And so after that, we became friends. I think that it broke this barrier. It it made us so that we can now be authentic with each other. We can be genuine with each other. So my whole point of telling you all of that is that once you look into yourself and are truthful about the ugly, something about yourself that you've been running away, and it might be to you uglier than it really was, right? To me, jealousy was this really disgusting, ugly monster that weakened me. So I did not want to admit it. But once I admitted it, it wasn't like she got mad at me. It wasn't like she was disgusted with me. In fact, she felt closer to me that I was able to admit this. And part of it was because I'm no longer jealous, right? I don't suffer from that anymore. And since that time, I've been working on how jealousy seeps into all of my other relationships because it did. It seeped into many, if not probably all of my relationships at some point. And that jealousy made me very vulnerable. And when I was vulnerable, I put up walls. So I couldn't have these authentic relationships with people because I was constantly putting up walls to stay away because I was jealous or, this ugly feeling took over me. So now that I have faced that, I'm able to actually appreciate people for who they are and see them fully, not through this lens of jealousy, all right? I don't look at them anymore like, oh, all the things they have that I don't have, how good life is for them and how bad life is for me. I see them in their woundedness. I can see them for who they really are as a whole person. And I'm happy for them when they're blessed. And I'm happy for them when life goes well for them. And then I'm sad for them when life doesn't go well. So I can have this incredible, genuine, authentic relationship with people now. Now that I took away that thing that had dogged me, I didn't even realize this since I was a kid. So that's what I mean about introspecting and working on the thing that was broken inside of you. And you may not see it right away. And it could also be the thing that you're running away from. And if it's the thing you're running away from, just face it. Just face it by yourself. Admit to it, but then reject it and say, I don't want to be like that anymore. That there's so much power in that. And once you do that, you're going to start trusting your own judgment more. You're going to start having more authentic relationships. You're going to be able to let people in because you're not hiding the secret compartment in your life anymore. And that's why my friend was telling me, I think, and I believe, because almost every time we get together, she says something along those lines of how impressed she is about how stable I am, or how I don't want to put words into her mouth because we don't go that deeply and that long into it. I don't, just sit there for 30 minutes and let her gush about me. But essentially, she just is impressed and happy, and she tells me that I help her to be more stable, right? To see things more clearly, because and she's in this field, right? She's in there, she's a therapist. She's in this field to help people do that very thing. And so she can recognize when somebody is healthy minded, when somebody is coming in and is authentic. And we don't see that a lot in this world. And I recognize that too. We don't see that a lot in this world. So that's why I love my relationships with people, because I go straight for authenticity. I do. I want people to feel like they can be comfortable with me, because I don't want to go in judging. And I also don't want to go in jealous. I don't want to go in with this weird woundedness that I haven't addressed in myself. I go in healthy. And because I go in healthy, I think other people gravitate to that. So you guys, that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to go into your relationships healthy, strong, secure, not arrogant, but secure in yourself. Like, you know who you are, you know what you like, you know what you don't like, right? And you trust your judgment. Like if somebody is behaving in a way that seems like they're holding back, they're holding back. You can recognize it. If somebody is around you and you can kind of see that they're hiding something about their personality around you, you can see it right away. You can also see the narcissistic tactics right away. You can see their arrogance right away. You see their insecurities right away. You can see that they're overcompensating, right, for their insecurities. So once you get to this point, it's like you can see people so much more clearly. And it's a really good place to be. Not to say that you're going to address everybody's problems right away when you see them and call them out on it, because people are not ready for that right away. But you can be sure that you're not going to fall for manipulation. You're not going to fall for or get into a state of denial, right? About the relationship that you have with this other person. You're not going to make it bigger than it really is or stronger than it really is. You're going to know your limits with them. You're going to know, I can trust them up to this point until they prove themselves further or until our relationship grows further. Yeah, it's just all so good. And then the negative stuff, the insults, the injuries that they might throw towards you. And I have had this too, you guys. I have had people reject me. I've had people get weird, I guess, if you will, with me, with expectations, because I recognize they were jealous. So I'm like, okay, that's when I back away, because jealous people are not safe people. And I have to admit that the time then when I was jealous, I was not a safe person. I wasn't even a safe person to myself. So how can I be a safe person to other people? So I can recognize this in other people pretty clearly. Liars, cheaters, I can now recognize that people are hiding things just by their behavior, their words, I don't know, a sense that I have around them. They're not, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get too far into it. I don't analyze everybody that I meet, and I just enjoy them. I enjoy their company. I enjoy who they are. I enjoy their strengths, and I enjoy what they bring to the table. That's another thing that a healthy minded person, I think, is able to do. They're not like a therapist to everybody. They're not psychoanalyzing everybody that they meet. I think that's unhealthy to do that, because everybody then doesn't become a person to you. They're just an object to be analyzed. And I don't want to treat people that way. So you guys, I don't know. Now you know me a lot better. Now you know a bit of what makes me tick and what I had gone through to get here. And I want you guys to get to that point too. I want you guys to get to the point where you're trusting of your own judgment. And by the way, and it's not like I know everything about everybody right away. If I don't sense, and I can't, by the way, I can't sense and know somebody completely within the first hour that I meet them, within the first day that I know them, or within the first week that I know them. But I'm willing to see what comes forward for what it is. I'm willing to kind of see the red flags as they come up and make note of that. And then I'm willing to let the relationship play out and see where it progresses and allow it to progress in a healthy way. And if it's not progressing in a healthy way, then I know also when to shut it off. Like, okay, this is not really going anywhere because they're stuck where they are. I'm still open to them, but I know that they're just not ready to have a deeper or real relationship. So that's fine. That's where they are. You guys, let me see what you are saying. Obi says, I flirt with old ladies and it excites ones my age. Crystal laughs, laughing at that. You know what? Yeah, I don't know about the flirting thing. You guys are cracking me up because I don't flirt anymore, since I'm married. So, yes, I love hearing about it, though. I love hearing your experiences, you guys. Metal Gear says, it's good to concentrate on your self-worth before even dating. It gives you time to be a wiser person with a stronger self-esteem after being a victim for such a long time. It's worth the wait. Yep, I agree with that. Crystal says, I thought jihad meant holy war. Yeah, I don't believe, they call it jihad, I guess, a holy war, but jihad is also, I had heard that jihad also means struggle, or that's the core meaning of it. And then it was taken by, I don't even know, I guess, is it just Muslims? I'm not sure, but to mean holy war. Because, oh, and I had heard that the jihad is actually an internal holy war, as in you fighting the fight inside of yourself against good and evil that take wants to take over your body, or wants to take over your mind, your conscience, right? The good and the bad conscience. So that is what they had called a jihad, but that's what I've heard. You guys may have already explained it down here. Jihad says, Crystal, no, that's wrong, but the media portrays it like that to scare people away from Islam. But by saying jihadis or extreme jihadists who carry out a holy war. Yeah, I think that's true too. I think it is. It's been used now so much to portray or depict holy war that people just take it as that meaning now. But what I understood was originally it meant the holy war that goes on within your soul, within your mind, in your heart, right? Between good and evil. Yeah, the fight for your soul, the fight to be good, or to fight to be, because you want to fight against evil tendencies inside of yourself, to not do bad, but to do good. Yeah. Well, little lesson there for you guys. Obi-Wan says, I was about to say holy war was the media's definition of jihad. Didn't know how to word it right without sounding like what's a Kirk? I don't know, Kirk or jerk. Crystal says, it's when men that are with their significant other and they give me the look or check me out. It's so gross and disrespectful. Like, wrong person, buddy. I'll give them a dirty look. Oh, I see. Yikes. No, that's not good. That's not good. I guess I'm just so oblivious to stuff like that. I don't notice when people look at me, and yeah, I just never have. I just never have. And I know that it makes me, yeah, it would probably make me feel quite uncomfortable if I was aware that was happening. And the only times I've been aware, though, has been with single people. Like, they weren't with their significant others when they would say something pleasant to me, like a compliment or something. I didn't take it as flirting. I just took it as, hey, that's a nice compliment. And I've got my wedding ring on, so I'm good. Even if I'm not walking with my husband, it just felt good. That's nice. Yeah. Obi says, I struggled with jealousy too. It hurt everyone. I don't know what this word is. I think except maybe lobed. I don't know what that means. A narc. And hated an empath. Oh, loved a narc. It hurt everyone. It hurt. Everyone loved a narc and hated an empath. Now that I'm a grown up, I'm proud of being an empath. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's, you can learn empathy as well. I think empathy is learned. Sometimes I think we all have it, but narcissists possibly not. Although I have seen, and I made a video about this, that narcissists are empathic, but their sense of empathy is totally warped. They're empathic towards the worst people possible. And I'm not saying that, criminals, murderers, such, don't deserve any empathy. I'm just saying that the narcissist tends to victimize the victim even more, which is horrible to me. And then they give empathy instead of, because they're enablers as well, instead of allowing someone to reap their consequences, they'll give empathy to a horrible abuser and allow that abuser to continue to abuse and make excuses for the abuser. It's absolutely nuts. But bottom line, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, we can learn to be empathic. If that hadn't always been our strong suit, it can be. And the more you work at that, the more you get to become genuine with yourself, the more genuine you can be with others, the more you get to see them, the more empathic you can be for them, yeah, the deeper you'll start to feel for other people. Crystal says, Jihad, I think this war with narcs is a spiritual battle. So for me, that definition works. LOL. Yes, I agree with that. Okay, Jihad says jihad means struggle, and there are many different types of struggles, and the strongest struggle is the one between you and yourself. Okay, so you did mention this. Narcissistic abuse will teach you the meaning of jihad. Yes. Obi-Wan says, my jihad is wondering where my next meal will come from. LOL, just kidding. Crystal says, very true, jihad. As painful as it all is, they're here to force us to grow. Yep. C. Thomas says, Crystal, you both, and jihad, you both, all right. Never thought you needed self-work until now after this narc relationship. Yeah. Oh, I see. Thomas says it is definitely spiritual, leading us back to God somehow. Obi-Wan says, yeah, this type of abuse is sneaky. C. Thomas. C. Thomas says it's like an awakening. I can now see through a lot of people who mean no good. Isn't it? It really sharpens us and makes us more aware of our surroundings and definitely with people. Crystal says, definitely brought me back to a stronger relationship with God. Aw, that's great. Oh, yeah. Okay. Obi-Wan says, I saw a Matrix video that explained NPD abuse as either living with the blue pill, but once you take the red pill, you will wake up to everything. Yes. Yes. Isn't that true? Um, yeah. I think it is true because there are people who've never experienced narcissistic abuse, or at least they're not aware that they experienced it, right? Because they just weren't that close to the narcissist. They may have been used and then discarded. And then they just kind of thought, oh, what a jerk, and didn't realize they had just been abused by a narcissist. Those of us who've been close enough that had spent our most vulnerable times with the narcissist and been abused there, we will know what it's like. And it is eye-opening. It's like taking a red pill. It's much deeper, sometimes darker place than what others have been or have had to go through. So part of you might feel like, I wish I could go back to how naive I was before the narcissist. I could be happy-go-lucky again. I could be trusting again, all of that stuff. But you don't. You don't want that because honestly, now after having gone through narcissistic abuse, not just by growing up in it, but also through friendships and through a romantic way as well. Once I've been able now to identify what those were, what was actually happening to me, I'm looking back and looking at that going, oh my gosh, that was narcissistic abuse. Now that I can identify that, and it wasn't just people being a jerk, it was intentional, it was manipulative, it was abusive. I understand now what the narcissist must have been going through or what they were thinking or their limited ability to be in the relationship. It opens my eyes to myself more. It opens my eyes to other people more. I'm like more self-aware now. It's quite different. It is like taking the red pill. And you can't go back. You can't go back to closing your eyes to this deeper sense or reality that you went through. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. But it's so cool at the same time. Jihad says, I need to watch The Matrix again because I never understood it. Oh, you didn't? Okay. So they're explaining it to each other now, what the movie The Matrix is about. Crystal says this Narcissist has woken us up to the real world, essentially, on many levels. Yep, I agree with that. Obi-Wan says, I like that analysis and I love knowing the Narc channel. Crystal Jean says, Obi-Wan, want to bend your noodle? I heard a rendition that even when Neo wakes up, he's still asleep. Just another layer of the Matrix. That's why he's still able to do things with his mind when out. Oh. Yeah, that makes... Because I was like, how can you do that in reality, bending your mind? Oh, the bending your mind part is when they re-enter the Matrix. So that's not the real world. The real world where he's bending, dodging bullets is part of the Matrix made up world. His body is in the real world, which is on that weird spaceship that has like almost nothing, and it's they're in these rags. That's the real world. And yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. You guys are getting me into this movie line. Crystal says, thanks for sharing Escape. Yeah, you're welcome, because oh, there's a misunderstanding in here. Yeah, I do want to share with you more and more about what is my life, what has happened in my life, and how I got here. Because I think that the more as open as I can be with you about it, without naming names and things like that, because I still want to keep this anonymous, because like I said, I still have people in my life that don't know I have this channel. So we'll see how long that lasts. Yeah. So you guys, yeah. Yeah, Obi-Wan was saying jerk because I was reading a comment of his way back and I didn't know what he was saying. Yeah. So you guys, yeah, we have gone over our hour. I'm thinking to keep this to, about an hour 20, hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes or so that we can actually get through our whole conversation. I kind of felt like sometimes things were rushed and I didn't get to all the comments. So I want to be able to do that with you guys. So glad that you came on here. I'm going to let you guys wrap up a few of your comments with each other. But are there any other thoughts that you've had or things that you've been going through? What do you think about dating and life after the narcissist? I think we've talked quite a bit about it. This Obi-Wan says 1.5. Oh, yeah, the word was Kirk. And I was like, what's that mean? What is this? Stop your real life for us, please. What does this mean? Obi-Wan says, I don't understand that. To stop my, is that what I said? I don't know. I meant to say share my real life. I don't even know. Now you're confusing me. So yeah, I wanted to share what's going on in life with you guys, because I think the more real I am with you guys, the more it'll help you to see that, let me explain this to you. I've met people who don't know me that well yet because, well, honestly, that's not where our relationship is, where I'm ready to share with them. So either one, they can't handle it, and two, they're not quite safe. That's not where our trust level is yet. Or three, we just don't have that kind of relationship. It's just never going to be there. So there have been people, though, who've met me who act as if, oh, I must never have suffered. I must never have experienced trauma like they've experienced it. And that's why they are held back and I'm not. So they come at me, and I don't think they mean it in a horrible way. It's just their limited understanding that you can heal. You can heal from really awful traumatic stuff. And I think they kind of know that. Maybe they just never realized they've met anybody that's come from really horrible trauma like they have, and has been able to get over it. Has been able to find love and joy and goodness and light in their life again, and can be positive. I wasn't always positive. I was quite a negative person actually for quite a long time in my life. So they don't know that because they didn't know that part of me, or that those years when I was negative. So now they know. Now now they know me as I am now, and don't realize the background. They don't realize all the stuff I've had to go through. Oh, Obi-Wan says, stop having a real life and spend it with us. I see. So should I be on, just do live streaming 24/7? Take you along with me when I hang out with my friends? When I go on a bike ride? I thought about that. I have thought about that. But if I did that, then definitely the people who are still in my life are gonna know that I'm doing this channel. All right, you guys. Obi-Wan says, I used to be miserable until I found out what was destroying me. Yeah. Yeah. Crystal says, escape. No, in the third movie, he can see even though he's blind, and disables the machines with his mind, but he's not in the Matrix anymore. Oh, I don't think I saw I don't remember the third movie. Anyway, it's a new perspective. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I have to watch the third movie again. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for hanging out. Those of you who are not coming on and commenting, I'm so glad that you also have come to join us. I'm glad that you're listening. I hope that this has helped you. And if you have comments, though, after this live stream, please go ahead and write them, right in the comments below. I'm going to upload this video. It usually takes about 30 minutes to an hour. I don't know, maybe less. Depends on YouTube as they're getting better and better. But once I upload this live stream onto video form on my channel, you'll be able to make comments. You might even be able to make comments now. I'm not even sure. But in the comments section, that is. So if you have any questions or you want to interact, even though you haven't interacted during the video, please do that. And I do check my comments. I try to do it at least once or twice a week. And especially after uploading a new video, I want to try to comment within the next few hours or so. So it is good to see you. I'm so glad that you guys have joined me. I'm glad that we got to talk about grieving, the loss of a future that we thought we were going to have, that fake future. I'm glad we got to talk about self-improvement. I forgot to mention about motivational books and videos, movies, like The Matrix, right? Some movies become more motivational, even though they weren't meant to motivate you maybe after narcissistic abuse, but they enlighten you. They open your eyes to, wow, I had been taking the blue pill and now I want to take the red pill. I want to wake up and enjoy life to the full, right? I want to be in reality. I want to be authentic and genuine with people. I didn't mention laughter. That's one of the things that really has helped me and continues to help me, is when I start to feel down, I go to a comedy channel. I watch dry bar comedy. I have a few comedians. Actually, I think I've highlighted or saved their videos onto this channel. So if you go to my playlists, you might be able to see a playlist for comedy or comedians or something like that. And some of the videos I've seen in the past that just have cracked me up. What else? And learning about yourself, right? It's a very important thing to ask yourself who you are, what your likes are, what your dislikes are, and get to know yourself, get to like yourself, feed yourself the things that give you life, and start getting rid of the things that take life from you. So spend time with people that give you life, spend less time with people who don't give you life. Don't just cut out all your friends, obviously, because you need to be there for those who need help and are your friends, and you don't want to abandon them. I get that. But you might want to limit your time with them, right? Because even my therapist friends have told me that after spending time with very deep clients with deep issues, they need time. the therapist themselves, to recuperate from that. Same thing with us when we're helping other people. We need time too to recuperate. So, you guys, these are all good things to help prepare you to go on to the next part of your life, right? The life after the narcissist, dating and wanting to live again and enjoying your life. So I hope this has been good for you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm still going to be here, and hopefully this channel will last for quite some time later. We'll just keep on doing this. So I'll see you next week, and have a great time. Have a great week until then, Crystal. I hope you get better. I hope you feel better. I know what it's like because I suffered through my cough for a while. But get healthier, take care of yourselves, you guys, and I will talk to you next week. Many, many blessings and love to you guys.